Everyone knows the story of the Call of Duty franchise by now. What started as something pretty noble, an attempt at providing players with a realistic, grounded and gritty historical war experience, has now come to epitomize the worst aspects of video games as an industry and as a medium. Copy and paste military shooters churned out year after year by soulless corporations, experiences which handhold the player through staged set pieces meant not to further interactive storytelling, but to show off pretty graphics. Mechanics once engineered to make the player feel like just another soldier on the battlefield, now being contorted into a shallow power fantasy, and the fanbase themselves embodying everything toxic about gamers as an audience and as a community. I agree with all of these criticisms, and I didn't even get to the microtransactions or the political side of things, but the point is, I get it. Everyone seems to agree Call of Duty is essentially the most wretched example of its native art form. So a question I've been constantly asking myself over the past few years is, why do I keep playing these games? Not only that, why do I keep playing these games and enjoying them? Why do I keep going back to replay them? And why do I keep wishlisting the latest releases? Even though I completely understand why so many people hate these games on an intellectual level, I can't deny my own emotional reaction to these games either. And the fact of the matter is, not only do I like Call of Duty, I kind of love Call of Duty. And what's even more baffling is, I love Call of Duty for the campaigns, not the multiplayer. I know, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills as well, but I can't help it. Every part of my brain is telling me I should hate this franchise, but I just don't. And after pondering why for so long, I think I'm finally able to articulate why I feel the way I do about Call of Duty. So if you'll indulge me, allow me to explain how I learned to stop worrying and love Call of Duty. Now, just on a very basic level, I think it's worth restating that all of these games just play really well. If you're going to be playing a game which involves shooting 99% of the time, you want those mechanics to work well. But not only do the shooting mechanics in these games work well, they're probably the best out there. Not every COD game is up to the exact same standard with this stuff, but generally, across the board, Call of Duty's gunplay feels fast and fluid, but also precise and punchy. The distinction between different types of weaponry and the best places to use them is always clear, and the sound design is exemplary. On top of that, there's just something to be said for sheer production value. While many fans may lament the game series seemingly switching influences from Spielberg war movie to Michael Bay blockbuster, the devs at Infinity Ward, Treyarch, Sledgehammer and Ravensoft really deliver the goods when it comes to spectacle. Every firefight, whether it be a city-wide battle or close-quarters special forces operation, feels absolutely massive. Sweeping corners and suddenly coming face-to-face with a gun-toting henchman feels just as intense as any tank battle. This is also why I think the power fantasy criticism is actually slightly misplaced. While it's true the modern games are contorting mechanics originally designed to make the player feel like any other soldier into an action hero experience, I actually think it kind of works. Because while yes, Captain Price and Soap McTavish have a simply astronomical body count to their names, the experience feels less like playing Commando's John Matrix and more like Die Hard's John McClane or 24's Jack Bauer. The character you're playing is no doubt extremely skilled, but they aren't Master Chief, they're not superhuman. The odds are still stacked against them and it's up to the player to get them through to the other side. The fact that you aren't superhuman means that when you do succeed in pulling off these kinds of death-defying stunts, it's truly exhilarating. Now you may have noticed the amount of movie references I've made in this video as opposed to video game references, and that's deliberate. Because you see, the reason I enjoy Call of Duty is not because I'm judging it by the standards of games, but by the standards of movies. Have you ever noticed that all the elements which make great action in movies are basically the default for video game action? Everyone praises John Wick's action because we could actually see what's going on. The camera wasn't shaking for no reason, nor was the editing over the top. But when it comes to video game action, clear geography and a well-directed camera aren't options, they're requirements. You need to have a proper view of the level to understand where to go. You need to understand where enemies are in order to fight back. If you judge Call of Duty's action set pieces by the standards of action movies, then Call of Duty features some of the best action set pieces in cinematic history. And it goes beyond simple clarity, but also pacing and escalation. Take this level from Modern Warfare 3 for example. The goal of the level is clear: stop the terrorists from moving chemical weapons out of their base. We start with a stealthier section, moving through the rain-drenched nighttime back alleys, before sweeping the warehouse and picking off guards with suppressed weapons. Having cleared the warehouse, it's time to go loud, sliding off the rooftop into the thick of battle. It's a tough slog through the docks as you push the enemy back, aided by the timely arrival of a helicopter gunship. But just as it looks like victory is in the bag, the terrorists flee to a tunnel linking into the London Underground, where they're already moving the weapons on a train. So it's into the back of a truck for an adrenaline-pumping chase, dodging other trains, shooting at the enemies in the windows, all of it culminating in a massive train wreck which almost brings the entire tunnel system crashing down upon you. If this set piece was in a movie, it would be astoundingly well put together. Remember, we started the level like this.
Got 2 more inside. Make sure they don't wake up.
And ended it like this.
I see the driver! Taking a shot! Man down! Man
And all the while, we're constantly dealt new obstacles and reversals with a clear ticking clock all throughout to maintain tension. It's utterly thrilling. And yes, I can already hear those who say we shouldn't be comparing games to movies in general, but the interactive medium does enhance these set pieces as well. Yes, the game is holding your hand the entire time, but it's not as if you can just put the controller down. It's certainly a scripted set piece, but while you'd merely watch the set piece in a movie, here you're truly part of it. Purely as an action-driven experience, this is phenomenal stuff. And honestly, that's what it really comes down to, the game equivalent of a roller coaster ride. By no means do I think the Call of Duty series is secretly high art. This is basic popcorn entertainment, nothing more. And experienced on those terms, this loud, very silly, very dumb video game franchise is utterly compelling and thrilling. Just like a roller coaster ride, at some point you just have to sit back and enjoy it, which I very much do, and I'll do it many more times, because I've finally learned how to stop worrying and love Call of Duty.
Jump for it!
Gotcha! We're all aboard! Go!
Roger that, we're out here. Baseplate, this is Big Bird. Package secured, returning to base. Out.
Thanks for watching, guys. If you like what we do on this channel, give the video a thumbs up, subscribe, and make sure to hit the bell icon to keep up to date with all new uploads. We release videos every other week, so stay tuned for that. Until next time, this has been Rowan from Side Adventure. Have a good one.